Top stories tonight in Y News. The Supreme Court was asked to declare as unconstitutional a law that was recently passed postponing the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections to October next year.
After concerns were raised over police visits to journalists' private houses to check on their security, the Philippine National Police stated that they will provide explicit rules on how police personnel should approach media practitioners.
More than 27,000 Filipinos were affected by Tropical Storm Neneng, while Typhoon Maymay left 532 million pesos in damage in Cagayan's infrastructure and agriculture in a week of successive blows from the two weather disturbances.
The Department of Education has allowed private schools nationwide to continue the implementation of blended learning modality beyond November.
Good evening, Philippines and the world. Today is Monday, the 17th of October, 2022. Join us in the next hour as we deliver today's top stories around the Philippines and in other parts of the world. I am William Theo.
We are also seen in 1,935 satellite monitoring centers nationwide and via live streaming worldwide through the UNTV News and Rescue social media channels. I am Harding Delgado.
First in the news, an election lawyer filed a petition with the Supreme Court challenging the statute that moved the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections from December this year to October 2023. Dante Amento will tell us why.
The Congress does not have the authority to reschedule the elections, says election lawyer Attorney Romulo Macalintal. Today, the lawyer filed a petition before the Supreme Court questioning the constitutionality of Republic Act 11935, which postponed the December 5, 2022 elections.
Para sa akin, sa aking pag-aaral, ito ay labag sa ating saligang batas dahil sa ang Kongreso ay walang kapangyarihang mag-postpone ng eleksyon. Ang postponement ng eleksyon ay kapangyarihan ng ating Commission on Elections.
Macalintal added that Section 3 of the law regarding the holdover capacity of incumbent government officials is also illegal.
Yung holdover para sa mga barangay officials unconstitutional, labag sa saligang batas kasi pag holdover, ang ibig sabihin, ina-appoint ka ng Kongreso. Ay sa ilalim ng saligang batas, ang barangay officials ay dapat na inihahalal, hindi ina-appoint. Yung holdover, ang nangyari, they are appointed by Congress, not elected as provided by the Constitution.
He urged the High Tribunal to review the law and issue a temporary restraining order or TRO pending resolution of his petition. Meanwhile, the COMELEC believes it is high time for a definitive decision on whether the Congress can postpone the elections. Chairman George Erwin Garcia said the court's decision can be used as basis for the future.
It's high time na magkaroon po ng interpretasyon ng saligang batas. Sadya bang may kapangyarihan ng Kongreso na mag-postpone ng eleksyon? Number 2, sadya bang kasama sa pagpo-postpone ng barangay and SK, ang barangay at SK, o ito ay limitado lang sa ibang posisyon? Magandang meron pong interpretasyon sa provision na yan.
The BSKE postponement law would be in effect on the 4th week of this month. Dante Amento, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
The Commission on Elections hopes that senators will reconsider its request for additional budget for the conduct of village polls next year. This report will tell us why. Senate Finance Subcommittee Chairperson Amy Marcos has floated the idea of giving a zero budget for the Barangay and Sangguniang Kabataan elections or BSKE next year. This as she sees a delay in the passage of the COMELEC's proposed budget for 2023. Earlier, the senator moved to suspend the budget hearing of COMELEC after it failed to submit the requested documents, including the computation for the 10 billion peso proposed additional budget for the BSKE.
Pinagpipilitan pa rin nila na kinakailangan daw nila ng additional 10 billion on top of the 8.4 billion na nasa kanila na. Marami ng beses na sinasabi magsasubmit, hindi naman nangyayari. Kaya abangan na lang natin. Nasa batas na yung date, ang problema yung budget. So, okay lang. Palusutin na lang natin yung budget ng GAA, zero budget na lang yung barangay SK elections para hindi malintala yung buong budget natin. Pwede ba yun? Dapat pagkasyahin na lang.
COMELEC Chairperson George Erwin Garcia apologized to the committee and vowed to submit the documents before the day ends. Garcia is optimistic that the hearing will proceed on Thursday, October 20. However, there is no commitment yet from Marcos, who will defend their budget in the plenary next month. For now, the COMELEC chief says they are adjusting their estimates and seeking ways to lessen the costs for the conduct of the BSKE. For now, at least 4 billion pesos are needed based on the latest projection of COMELEC.
If we can only reduce the projection and at the same time we can increase the number of voters per precinct, so marireduce po ang number of precincts, marireduce din yung bilang ng mga teachers na maglilingkod sa araw ng eleksyon, marireduce din po yung mga kagamitan. Isipin niyo po from as high as 10 billion, the commission was able to squeeze it and reduce by 4 billion pesos. So we're hoping that that amount is acceptable to our good senators.
The committee has a current budget of 8.5 billion pesos for the BSKE, supposedly to be conducted this year. However, the elections were postponed to October 2023, which means additional costs due to more voters. Currently, around 91 million are registered voters for the BSKE, 67 million are regular voters for the barangay elections, while over 24 million for SK voters. Due to the continuing voters registration, the COMELEC projects 5 to 7 million additional voters for the BSKE in 2023. Additional budget will also be needed for thousands of new precincts and poll workers. Should Congress decide not to grant additional budget for the BSKE, Garcia says they can request for a supplemental budget next year. Jorge Delgado, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
In the midst of the House visit issue, the Philippine National Police will release policies and guidelines on how to deal with journalists. This comes after some media personalities expressed concern about being visited by police in civilian clothes in the recent days. Leah Ilagan reports.
Philippine National Police spokesperson Police Colonel Jean Fajardo admitted that there were lapses in the execution of the PNP leadership's order to cooperate with media personalities. This comes after police in Marikina and Quezon City visit media personalities. Colonel Fajardo said the PNP visits media personnel only to inquire if they are receiving threats.
Ang utos po ay to coordinate and to check on them. But yung pong pagpunta po ng mga nakasibilyan, yun po yung mga nakikita po nating lapses sa mga ginawa nga pong action nga po, particularly dyan po sa baba. Kaya naman po ito rin po ang nagsilbing eye-opener din po at reminders po sa ating PNP and CRPO para mas lalo pong paigtingin yung ating magandang pakikipag-ugnayan sa mga miyembro ng media.
The PNP will develop policies and guidelines for dealing with the media after the House visit issue.
Kaya naman po dahil nga po doon sa nangyari, Ma'am Leia, ay magkasagawa po ng mga dialogo po ang PNP para kuhanin na rin po yung suggestion po ng mga miyembro po ng media kung paano po natin mas mapapaigting po at masisiguro din po yung kanilang seguridad at safety at mawala po yung pangamba na sila po ay pinaprofile, sila po ay binabantayan. Wala pong ganong intensyon ng PNP, Ma'am Leia. Maganda po ni intensyon na siguraduhin po at i-ensure po yung safety and security po ng mga kasamahan po natin sa media.
Over the weekend, NCRPO Director Police Brigadier General Jonel Estomo asked some of the media personnel for an apology for the House visit issue of Marikina and Quezon City Police personnel. Leia Ilagan, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people. We give glory to God.
Lawmakers in the House of Representatives have filed a resolution requesting an investigation into police visits to the residences of many media practitioners. Eileen Cerudo will tell us why.
The Makabayan bloc believe there is an infringement of the right to privacy and the right to information of the people when police officers visited the home of a veteran journalist last weekend. According to the Philippine National Police, the visits was out of concern for the safety and well-being of media practitioners. However, ACT Teachers Party List Representative Franz Castro said this might become a form of harassment and profiling which violates the right to privacy of affected individuals. House Resolution number 484 was filed in order to call on Congress to probe in aid of legislation the said visits of police officers. The lawmakers also said the surprise visits was already being done by the police authorities to some teachers. She also added that there might be worst case scenarios with the said surprise visits.
The worst, yung worst, di ba, yung kapag halimbawa, tamnan. Nangyari na kasi ito yung tinatamnan nila ng mga kung ano-anong mga ebidensya pag napupunta doon sa bahay, lalo na kapag naka-plain clothes at walang pagkakakilanlan.
Meanwhile, the Secretary General of the National Union of Journalists of the Philippines, Len Olea, said the police visits raised alarms and concern in the media. The group also said the police should prioritize the ongoing cases regarding harassment of the media.
Yung mga wala naman pong reported threats, huwag na po nilang bisitahin. Kung gusto po nila ng dagdag na impormasyon, gusto nilang may imbestigahan, makipag-coordinate po sila diretso sa management ng newsrooms kasi may protocol po sana na sinusunod.
The NUJP is also open for dialogue and coordination with the National Police for security reasons for media practitioners. Eileen Cerudo, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
The Taguig City Regional Trial Court Branch 19 has conducted the second hearing for Vong Navarro's bail petition today. A certain Police Master Sergeant Lori Laurento was presented as the second prosecution witness or by Denise Cornejo's camp. The witness was one of the ones on duty police investigators when Navarro was brought by Cedric Lee, Denise Cornejo to Southern Police District. There are still 3 hearings scheduled on October 25, November 7, and November 10. The prosecution would still present 3 more witnesses, including Denise Cornejo.
Magpipresenta kami ulit sa October 25, November 7 at November 10. So, prinamis naman namin na tapusin namin yung presentation para sa bail up to November 10. So, antayin na lang kung sino yung iprepresenta namin sa mga susunod na pagdinig.
Meron pa tayong 25, 7, and 10. By that time, tapos tayo. So, yun lang. Trabaho lang kami and hoping for the best. But the judge, as I said, she will ultimately decide.
Sa tatlong testigo, hindi kasama ko si Denise?
Kasama siya. Siya ang pinaka-importante actually doon sa mga witnesses. Siya yung hinihintay namin. Pinipilit nga namin sana, pero nasa prosecution raw kasi yon. Pero pinipilit namin sana kung pwedeng sa 25, pero mukhang hindi.
The newly appointed presidential advisor, Paul Soriano, has agreed to earn only 1 peso per year as a cabinet rank official. Nel Maribuhok will tell us why.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. swore in Paul David Soriano as presidential advisor on creative communications. President Marcos added that one of the greatest assets of the Filipino is creativity, and we must find ways to highlight that to the rest of the world, as Paul Soriano has already done in his career. According to the President, they have asked Soriano to help at a salary of 1 peso per year. Soriano thanked the President for his trust and the honor of serving for the country. Soriano is tasked to advise the chief executive and assist departments and agencies, including government-owned and controlled corporations, on matters that will enhance their information dissemination programs and initiatives. President Marcos also administered the oath of office of Commission on Elections Chairman George Erwin Garcia and Commissioners Nelson Celis and Ernesto Ferdinand Maceda Jr. after their appointment to the poll body. Garcia's nomination as COMELEC Chairman has earlier been approved by the Commission on Appointments. Nel Maribuhok, UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
For the rest of the school year 2022 to 2023, the Department of Education will allow private schools to continue implementing blended learning modality. Janice and Henta will tell us why.
Students in private schools may continue with their distance and blended learning approach as the Department of Education private education institutions will continue on blended learning modality. DepEd Order Number 44 Series of 2022 states private schools may continue holding either 5 days face-to-face classes, blended learning or a mix of physical and online classes, or full distance learning beyond November 2. Private schools that will choose to continue the blended learning approach are allowed to adopt various setups prescribed by DepEd, such as 3 days of in-person classes and 2 days of distance learning. Students in private schools may also attend 4 days of in-person classes and 1 day of distance learning. For instance, DepEd said students may attend in-person classes from Monday to Wednesday and distance learning from Thursdays to Fridays, or Mondays to Thursdays in-person classes and Fridays of distance learning. In a statement, DepEd said that it will leave the discussion on the learning modality to be implemented by private education institutions to the schools, parents, guardians, and learners. However, DepEd hopes that parents and guardians of private school learners would not miss the abundance on the advantage of in-person classes over online learning. Meanwhile, DepEd reiterated that starting November 2, 2022, all public schools are mandated to implement 5-day of in-person classes, except public schools expressly granted exemptions by the regional director concerned and public schools with canceled classes due to disaster and calamities. Janice and Hente, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Meanwhile, the provincial government of Cagayan needs replenishment of their stockpiles. Its Provincial Risk Reduction and Management Office explains this after the onslaught of Tropical Depression Neneng. Asher Cadapan Jr. details why.
Tropical Depression Neneng affected over 82,000 residents in Cagayan Province based on the data gathered by its Provincial Risk Reduction and Management Office. More than 6,700 of them were brought in designated evacuation centers in their respective towns. Cagayan PDRMO head Rueli Rapsing says most of them already went back home, while about 100 remaining are expected to return to their residences within the day. All of them were provided aid by the local government units.
By the time that we evacuate them po, the local government, pangangalagaan po sila, pinapakain sila at the same time binibigyan po sila ng mga relief goods po.
Since the severe tropical storm Florita in August 2022, 9 typhoons have struck the Philippines. Those that struck Cagayan province affected thousands of residents, which costs a lot in terms of providing aid, especially to those who stay in evacuation centers. With this, the Cagayan PDRMO calls out to the Department of Social Welfare and Development to replenish their stockpiles to provide for their residents as the province is prone to typhoons.
Pinaka-initial sigurong iingi natin ng tulong ngayon ay ang replenishment ng mga stockpile ng local government units natin dahil sunod-sunod na mga sama ng panahon mula pa kay Florida hanggang itong sa tropical storm Neneng. Nag-evacuate tayo ng mga tao, nagbibigay sila ng mga relief goods nila. Definitely we need to replenish that.
As a long-term solution, the Cagayan provincial government seeks for the national government's help in the rehabilitation, particularly dredging of the Cagayan River to minimize the flooding incidents in the area. Asher Cadapan Jr., UNTV News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
Tropical Storm Neneng affected over 27,000 Filipinos, while Typhoon Maymay cost 532 million pesos in damage to Cagayan Province's infrastructure and crops. According to the NDRMC's situational report, Neneng afflicted 7,519 households, totaling 27,914 people in Cagayan Valley, Ilocos Region, and Cordillera Administrative Region. Of the number, 199 families or 721 individuals were being served in 32 evacuation centers, while 86 families or 277 individuals opted to stay with their relatives or friends' house. A state of calamity was declared in Santa Ana, Cagayan due to massive flooding in all of its 15 barangays. Meanwhile, Typhoon Maymay, which also devastated Cagayan last week, dealt a total of 532,960,858 worth of damage to the province's infrastructure and agriculture.
Agri groups and the National Food Authority signed an agreement to purchase 7.5 million metric tons of palay from local farmers at a higher farm gate price. JP Nunez reports why.
The National Food Authority, Samahang Industriya ng Agrikultura o SINAG, and the Philippine Confederation of Grains Association joined forces to assist local farmers with the increasing cost of palay or rice grains production. The Agri groups and NFA representatives came up with the idea to buy locally produced rice grains at a higher price during harvest season. SINAG Chairman Rosendo So explained that they will buy dried palay for about 19 to 20 pesos per kilo, while wet palay will be priced at 16.50 pesos per kilo. The price is 3 pesos higher than in many provinces across the country.
Hindi solusyon yung import talaga. And we have to encourage our farmers to plant dahil kung mabili ito ng 19 to 20 pesos, may pag-asa na magtatanim ulit sila. Pero kung ang presyo is mas mababa doon, hindi na sila magtatanim. Yun ang malaking problema natin.
According to So, Agri groups will purchase about 7.5 million metric tons of palay from local farmers by the millers and traders at the end of their term. The NFA will buy at least 4 to 5% of total production, and their warehouses can be used for storage. The NFA also provided funding for the rent of trucks that can be used to deliver produced palay.
Doon sa warehousing namin kasi, di ba, bumaba kami kasi ng volume na tinatago. So may mga available warehouses kami. Noong araw, meron kaming binibigyan na libre use ng mga farmer cooperatives, ang mga warehouses namin. A maximum of 6 months. So pwede naman na i-consider yun na titingnan kung yan ay makatulong sa mga farmers.
JP Nunez, UNTV, News and Rescue. We serve the people, we give glory to God.
President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is a keynote speaker of the Philippine Tourism Industry Convergence Reception, an event hosted by the Department of Tourism. The president lauded the DOT for their initiatives to help recover the tourism sector. President Marcos believes that tourism is a significant driver of the country's economic growth. During the event, the president led the unity toast for the country's tourism industry that has been steadily recovering since being hit by the COVID-19 pandemic.
China's leader Xi Jinping opens the 20th Chinese Communist Party Congress with Hong Kong takeover and a warning to Taiwan. Marvy Delphine will give us the details live. Marvy?
LC, in his opening address to more than 2,300 delegates in Beijing's Great Hall of the People yesterday, President Xi Jinping praised the ruling party's intervention in Hong Kong, which he says has restored order and achieved the major transition from chaos to governance. In his speech that lasted for less than 2 hours, the Chinese leader celebrated China's turbocharged market growth and promoted the economic and cultural exchanges across the region. Xi then reaffirmed the country's long-term stance on seeking peaceful reunification with Taiwan as a requirement for China's national rejuvenation, but did not renounce potential aggression or violence. Moreover, Xi criticized the U.S.'s increasing support for Taipei, denouncing foreign interference for exacerbating tensions. As the week-long event is the first party congress since the removal of president term limits for party leaders, it is widely expected that Xi will secure a third term, opening the possibility for Xi to remain leader for life. This will cement his title as the most powerful leader since Mao Zedong. Elsie?
Marvy, what was Taiwan's response to Xi's speech?
Elsie, Taiwan's presidential office's spokesperson Chang Chun-han said a majority of Taiwan citizens had made clear their refusal to China's proposed one country, two systems, the same model of autonomy for Hong Kong. Chang also emphasized that maintaining the peace in the Taiwan Strait is a shared responsibility and that the self-ruled island is willing to work with Beijing under the principle of rationality, equality, and mutual respect. Back to you, Elsie.
Thank you, Marvy Delphine, for that live report. The European Union is slated to increase its military assistance to Ukraine by beginning a mission to train 15,000 Ukrainian soldiers and allocating an additional 500 million euros for arms. Diplomats said the mission should start operating next month once the 27 member nations of the bloc's foreign ministers gather in Luxembourg to approve the plans. After almost 8 months of war, Ukraine's forces are making progress on the battlefield, and Kyiv's Western backers are keen to make sure its troops have the capacity to keep fighting. The German couple who founded Pfizer-BioNTech pharmaceutical company has predicted that a cancer vaccine could be widely available within the next decade. The cancer vaccine, which would build upon breakthroughs achieved by the scientists during the development of the COVID-19 shot, may be widely available within just 8 years. The hope is that a vaccine currently in development would train the body to recognize and attack cancers using mRNA technology. And those are the reasons behind the news in other parts of the globe. I am Elsie Marcos, live from Auckland, New Zealand. Good evening.
Our Kasangbahay, as the world faces these trying times amid the pandemic caused by coronavirus, we are inviting everyone to join the global prayer for humanity.
Good day. I'm Brother Eli Soriano of the members of the Church of God International. I want to invite you to join us in a minute of prayer every day to pray for humanity and the whole world as we go through these perilous times. While safety measures like washing of hands and strengthening of our immune systems may help us through this horrible predicament, there is still no precaution or cure more powerful than God's mighty intervention. And we need His intervention now more than ever. It doesn't matter what religion you are in or what denomination you belong. This is an invitation for all the people around the world who cares for the future of their family, friends, loved ones, and humanity as a whole. Everybody is welcome to pray with us. For more details, you can check out the description box below. Thank you very much, and I hope to hear from you soon. May God bless you.
We close, we will leave you with a word, giving glory to God. From the book of John, chapter 14, verse 1, it says, "Let not your heart be troubled. Ye believe in God, believe also in me." And those are the reasons behind the news, October 17, 2022. Reasons we deliver to you as they unfold. I am Harding Delgado.
And because we need to know, we will always ask why. I am William Theo. We serve the people. We give glory to God.